Hey everyone, let us talk about something really important today, something that I truly wish someone had told me when I was in my early 20s. It is about how to navigate your finances in this crucial decade so you can actually build a solid foundation. I'm going to be honest with you, my 20s were a financial roller coaster and not the fun kind. I made so many mistakes, chased so many fleeting opportunities, and ended up learning some very hard lessons about money. These experiences, though painful at the time, have shaped my understanding of personal finance, and that is exactly what I want to share with you today. For me, the idea of financial freedom in your 30s or even earlier, it isn't about lounging on a beach and never working again. That is a nice dream, but it is not realistic for most of us. What it truly means is having enough financial stability and passive income to choose how you spend your time. It means you can still work, but you are working on things you are genuinely passionate about. You have the freedom to say no to opportunities that don't align with your values and yes to those that truly excite you. That is my definition, and that is what I am aiming for now. Let us be very clear about this. The decade between 20 and 30 is not just about your 30s. It affects everything that comes after. If you don't take your financial health seriously during this period, you will absolutely pay the price later in life. I have seen it happen to countless people in their 40s, 50s, and beyond. They didn't make the necessary sacrifices or smart choices in their younger years, and now they are constantly struggling. I truly believe that if you make conscious efforts and sacrifices for just 5 to 10 years in your 20s, you can live the rest of your life with far more freedom and less financial stress. My first big piece of advice, and this might sound counterintuitive, is to learn to say no to many things. I know the common wisdom is to say yes to every opportunity. When you are young, to explore everything, but in my experience, your 20s should be about subtraction, not addition. It is about cutting out what doesn't serve you. Think about it. Say no to parties or social gatherings that drain your energy or don't offer any real value. I spent too much time in situations that were just distractions, thinking I was being social or networking, when in reality, they were just time sinks. Say no to relationships that are toxic or emotionally exhausting. While good partners are out there, some relationships can indeed be significant distractions or simply a waste of precious time. And crucially, say no to jobs that don't teach you anything new or don't contribute to your growth. Every yes to something is a no to something else, and you need to be intentional about what you are saying yes to. Every step that doesn't move you closer to your goals, especially your financial and career goals, can be a diversion. I learned this the hard way from 20 to 23. I was so focused on building something for myself that I sometimes took this say no philosophy to an extreme. I distanced myself from friends, even family at times, because I felt everything was a distraction from my mission. It was tough, and I wouldn't recommend being quite so rigid. But that period, particularly in 2022 when I was building my own business, truly set me up. It gave me a foundation that meant I wouldn't have to work for the next 10 or 15 years if I truly didn't want to. That is the kind of freedom it is about prioritizing and making choices that empower your future self. My second point is to be constantly evolving. You should actually be aiming for people to say, wow, you have changed. You want to hear that you switch things up, that you are different. You should be striving for these kinds of transformations every 6 to 12 months. Your 20s are your most formative years, and unfortunately, we are often conditioned from a young age to stay within a comfortable bubble. We are told to get a stable job, avoid risks, and not pursue entrepreneurial ventures. We were taught to follow a predefined path, a routine that might not be right for us. I went against that grain. I didn't follow the typical path, and it has served me incredibly well. While some people thrive in traditional environments, and I have friends who are very happy following that route. If you are watching this, you probably have a different ambition. You need to constantly seek new experiences, learn new things, and challenge your own beliefs. Don't be afraid to morph into a new person, to redefine your identity as you grow and learn. This constant evolution is key to both personal and financial growth. My third piece of advice is to aim to learn one new high-value skill every single year, one new skill per year. Let me give you an example from my own journey in 2017. I started with appointment setting. The next year, 2018, I focused on closing sales. In 2019, it was all about leadership. I was leading a team of 12 to 15 appointment setters in my early 20s. Then, when I started my own business, I learned copywriting, negotiation, and digital advertising. These skills stacked up, one on top of the other, making me much more capable and adaptable. I get frustrated when I see people learning skills but not putting them into action. Many traditional educational systems, in my opinion, teach outdated content you might be learning from 10 or 20-year-old material, internalizing everything, and passing tests. But you aren't actually applying any of it. In sales, for instance, practice is everything. You don't get that in school. You are taught to be a good employee and a good test taker, but not necessarily to have practical real world skills. This is why I think the job market can be so challenging. People assume their education alone is enough. When I look at a resume, I am more interested in what someone has actually done that is different. Have you run a marathon? Have you tried starting a business? Are you working on any side projects? That is what stands out to me. A diploma is great, but when thousands of other candidates have the exact same piece of paper, what makes you unique? So, seriously consider focusing on acquiring high-value skills. We can talk about freelance opportunities with these skills another time. My fourth point is crucial, and it is something I cannot emphasize enough. You need to surround yourself with the right people. Seriously, audit your environment constantly, at least once a month. It might sound cliché, but the saying "you are the sum of the 5 people closest to you" is one of the truest things I've ever encountered. I've been in so many situations, parties, family gatherings, where you can just feel the negative energy, whether it is drama, general toxicity, or just people constantly talking negatively about money. It can really get to you. Sometimes even now, I catch myself doubting my path when I am around people who are skeptical or against my entrepreneurial endeavors. You almost start to psych yourself out thinking, maybe they are right, but imagine if you were surrounded by 5 successful entrepreneurs. Do you think you would have those doubts? Absolutely not. That is why I deliberately put myself into groups and sought out mentors who were well ahead of me. These were people who would challenge me, push me, and even laugh at my hesitation, asking why I hadn't started a business sooner. This is a stark contrast to family members who might discourage big ideas. Your environment is a powerful force, and you have to actively work to cultivate one that supports your growth. While it is good to be able to be alone and focus, you also need human connection and positive influences. You don't want to be isolated forever. This is simply a good way to ensure you are consistently moving forward. My fifth point, and this is more of a mindset shift than a practical step, is to realize that nobody truly cares about you as much as you think they do. The quicker you internalize this, the better your life will become, especially between the ages of 19 and 29. Most people are so focused on their own lives and their own challenges that they barely have time to think about anyone else. If you worry about what others think of your social media posts or your new venture, trust me, even if they give it a fleeting thought for 30 seconds, they won't remember it by bedtime. This realization helped me focus tremendously. I used to constantly worry about what others would think when I started my business, or posted content online, or pursued unconventional paths. But once I understood that everyone is primarily concerned with their own world, it freed me to pursue my goals without inhibition. It is a small mental shift, but the impact it had on my life was immeasurable. Remember, everyone laughs until it works. People might talk negatively until they start seeing you succeed, and even then, their opinions often don't truly matter. Just remind yourself of that as a bonus point, a sixth one if you will. Build your personal brand. If you are watching this, you likely have a phone or a laptop, which means you have a camera. Start documenting your journey. You don't need to create elaborate tutorials or have an incredible skill set from day one. Many YouTubers I admire didn't have extraordinary skills when they started. They simply began documenting what they were already interested in, whether it was their skills, hobbies, or passions. Create content around that. Your personal brand in your 20s can become your real-life lottery ticket. Even if you start in your late 20s, it is better late than never. If you have followed my journey, you know that not starting YouTube sooner is one of my biggest regrets. It has genuinely changed my life, giving me a sense of purpose and excitement. I often wonder, what was I thinking? Why didn't I do this years ago? You don't need fancy content or complex editing. Just start by documenting what you are already doing. Film yourself making cold calls or talk about your car content or whatever it is. Just do something. This was a quick video, but I wanted to get these thoughts out there. If you have any questions, please leave them below. And as always, if you made it this far, I genuinely want to see you succeed.